Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, mysterious voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I have found in my travels. Today, I wanted to return to one of my favorite authors that I've been talking about on this channel quite frequently. I decided to read a book about hidden worlds and spooky mothers. I am referring to Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and that was published in 2002. And take a look at this cover. Very spooky, very eerie, and quite good. For those who don't know, Neil Gaiman is an author that I've talked about on this channel for a pretty long while. Ever since I really started this channel in general, I've been talking about Neil Gaiman's writings, including The Sandman and American Gods, which I didn't read for this channel, but I have read in the past, and I really enjoyed. The Graveyard Book, which I didn't like so much, and How to Talk to Girls at Parties, which was a pretty solid little short graphic novel that I read last month. And I wanted to explore some more of Neil Gaiman's work, and so I decided to look into Coraline today. As it seemed to be interesting. I remember Lucas over at the Bits of Lit talking about it, although he had sort of like mixed feelings about it, if I recall correctly. But I did want to seek it out because I do like most of Neil Gaiman's works. And also I'm getting myself hype for the premiere of the Sandman show that is going to premiere soon. So, just talking all about Neil Gaiman as much as I can. But without further ado, let's talk about the book. I will do a summary, a brief analysis, and we will move on from there. So Coraline focuses, of course, on Coraline Jones. She is a young girl whose family just moved into an apartment somewhere in England. The flat, the house in general, the complex is shared by other families. Some of them living in the attic, other people living in the floors below. And Coraline has started exploring the house before school starts, just seeing everything that she can see and getting to know her neighbors, who unfortunately refer to her as Caroline, even though she tells them that that's not her name. Coraline encounters a mysterious door that her mom says just doesn't go anywhere. But at night, when she's sleeping, she wakes up and she sees a shadow heading towards that door, suggesting that all is not as it seems. And the next day, Coraline's mother goes to get groceries, and Coraline is left alone. And she walks through another door into a mysterious hallway where things seem very different. She encounters another family in this place that looks just like her house, but is actually a different part of the flat altogether, seemingly appearing in a hidden world of some kind. And Coraline encounters like her dad and her mother, but very different versions that are paler, maybe taller, and they also have buttons for their eyes. But things seem to be pretty interesting. She goes exploring and enjoys like getting to know these people, even if they are a bit different. And Coraline's other mother says, "Why don't we make this transition permanent? All I have to do is attach these buttons to your eyes, and that'll mean you're truly my daughter." But Coraline has some bad feelings about that, because this isn't really her parents. And this isn't really. She doesn't really feel comfortable in this place. Coraline goes back to her real house, but discovers that her parents are missing. And when she looks into a mirror, she discovers that her parents have been kidnapped. And so she travels back to this other world, and she finds herself being manipulated by her other mother, who asserts that her real parents left her because they didn't love her. Although Coraline pretty much sees through this, the other mother decides to stick her in a mirror, sort of like a mirror cell, in order to teach her a lesson. And there she meets other kidnapped children who charge her with basically rescuing their souls. And when the other mother allows Coraline out of the mirror cell, Coraline challenges her to a little bit of a contest. Coraline will go exploring, and look for all of these, look for the souls of the children as well as where her parents are hidden. And if she finds it, that's great. She gets to go. But if not, she's going to be stuck there forever, and she's going to truly become the other mother's daughter, which the other mother accepts, and Coraline goes off exploring, and a talking cat that follows her along asserts that the other mother is never truly going to let her leave. But indeed, Coraline does manage to find the souls of the children, and when it comes to finding her parents, she actually tricks the other mother into opening up the door, and she rushes out and manages to shut the door, although it appears that she severs the other mother's hand in the process. So she manages to lock the door, but the other mother's hand manages to skitter around and escape. When she wakes up one night, she discovers that this hand is searching the house for the key to this door so that it can be unlocked, and then the other mother can finally claim Coraline for her own. But Coraline manages to plan a bit of a trap for this severed hand, in that she sets up a picnic over a well, a very deep well, and when the skittering hand goes to grab the key, it falls into the well, and then Coraline boards it over, which presumably saves this world that she's in. And as the story comes to an end, Coraline notes that she feels braver and is ready for school to start when it does for her soon. In terms of analysis, Gaiman presents us with a little bit to talk about here. One interesting aspect of this story is the child's perspective of how the story is presented. It reminds me of Roald Dahl, because I had read part of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but also all of James and the Giant Peach. And Roald Dahl did, in his writing, has always done a good job of presenting the world through the eyes of a child, how adults aren't to be trusted, and things are zany and weird, and how you're often not listened to at times. And I feel like that's what's happening in this story. The adults seem useless for Coraline, like they don't listen to her when she says there's a very real threat that she's facing. And they also seem to ignore what she wants. Like, she keeps telling them, "My name's Coraline, not Caroline," and they insist on calling her Coraline. The animals seem to have a magical quality to them, and we really see how large and kind of big and mysterious the world is. Coraline wondered why so few of the adults she had met made any sense. She sometimes wondered who they thought they were talking to. And you get that perspective of the child there, where she understands that the children seem to be, or the adults seem to be, talking down to her, and she wonders, do they not know that I'm a fellow human to them? Do they, I can understand these things, at least from Coraline can understand these things. So I like how Neil Gaiman channels Roald Dahl and similar authors in writing this and getting at the child's perspective, letting us see through Coraline, and also seeing what fears children might have, like losing children or losing their parents, whereas the other mother kind of torments Coraline and teases her that her real parents abandoned her because they found something better and Coraline was boring. Also the fear of liminal spaces, stuff that doesn't quite seem normal, that I think children especially pick up on. And so the liminal space here is the very gray house, the mother who kind of looks like your mother but is not exactly your mother. The world that is their house, but in a negative sort of dimension. And as well, you get a child's solution to the problems that Coraline faces, with her just lying to the mother and saying, "Oh, I found what I'm looking for. I found my parents. They're in between the door." And when the other mother goes to search, like, she just runs through the door and then, like, shuts it. And dealing with the hand, like, she sets up a fake tea party and then boards up the well. Like, a very childish solution that works, but is still the solution that would be thought up by a child. And I also really like how Neil Gaiman writes the other mother, because the other mother seems to love Coraline at first and wants what's best for her. But I think the other mother, as well as this house, this environment that Coraline lives in, it represents a child's desire to have everything. Sort of like the ego and the id and the superego. Like, this is Coraline having everything that she wants. But as she notes, like, this isn't real. The house isn't real. The father in there isn't real. The other mother isn't real. Or she is real, but she's not truly her mother. Like, Coraline notes, like, if I can have everything that I want, if I can like have everything that I asked for, like, it's not real. Like, what good is any of this if I can have everything, like, and it's not coming in moderation? Like, then it's not given with love or anything like that. And that's what I think Neil Gaiman is getting at here, is the other mother, the other house, is just a pale imitation of what it is. There's no love there. It's all being done with the purpose of tricking Coraline into staying there. And so Coraline easily sees through it, as many children could see through it. Like, if they don't actually feel any sense of love, they're going to call you out on it, or it's going to negatively affect them, because they can sense that love isn't there. And so, like, I think this might be a cautionary tale for children. Like, beware those who seek to give you everything without moderating it out, or without, like, doing so for genuine purposes, because they might be trying to ensnare you in a trap, or they might be trying to buy your love or something like that. And I really like how Neil Gaiman gets at that, sort of like a cautionary tale, but also mixed with a bit of folk tale. This seems like a myth of some kind, like a cultural story of fairies, or like changelings, or like, a way to explain some evil in the world. So we've seen that with other Neil Gaiman works. He's really good at doing that, and I think he works his best when he writes from that perspective there. I also like the scary and gothic atmosphere of this story. I equated it to Roald Dahl, and it kind of works there, but I'd also say it's very similar to Edgar Allan Poe at times, especially with the spooky, unsettling kind of gothic atmosphere that Gaiman is building. And if not Edgar Allan Poe, like, not totally, but also Goosebumps for some reason, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I will say R.L. Stine does a great job of writing horror for children, and Neil Gaiman has done a great job in the same way of writing horror for children. And ultimately, this is better than Graveyard Book. The Graveyard, which I noted was, I didn't like it. I felt it was too disjointed. I wasn't really sure what Gaiman was trying to say, and it largely came off as boring and forgettable. But Coraline is something that I feel is going to stick with me, because it's much more focused, and like, there's a clear message there, and like, even though it's aimed at children, I feel like this is a story that everyone can latch on to. And then there's like one issue with this that I noticed: the uneven writing at times. Like, at times, like Neil Gaiman is in the zone, and his writing is really good, and at other times it feels kind of bland and like not very Neil Gaiman like, because he has a very trademark writing style that I sometimes don't see here. And you could easily say, oh well, this literature isn't meant for the adults like his other work, but like, if he's writing differently for children, then it would seem like that would be a mistake, because if he's not going to challenge his readers just because they're children, then that's not a very effective writer. Like, I called it out when Meg Cabot was doing it, and it's also a problem here. But because Neil Gaiman doesn't do it on a regular basis like Cabot did, it's not as obvious, I would say, but it is still a bit of an issue that his writing feels kind of bland and and very to the point at times here. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Coraline by Neil Gaiman, a pretty solid entry into the Gaiman canon of literature. I really enjoyed the spooky nature of it, and I do recommend it to you out there if you want something short and fun and also a little spooky. But if you wanted something of more substance, you might be better off exploring some of other Neil Gaiman's work. If you read this before, or you simply want to comment on something I said here, do so below. Let's have a discussion about Coraline. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about this if they don't already know about it. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and spooky travels. Farewell.